All right, hey guys. So it seems like this format is working out kind of well for me. I like it. I like how quickly I can do the TA and still be effective in my message to you. So let's go back and look at CDIO one more time, and this specifically pertains to the 4 hour chart. Okay, this is really important because I'm going further back in time to look at an existing pattern that looked really bullish at the time, and for whatever reason price got drove down to sub penny. Okay, so first of all, let's review where CDIO is sitting at right now. It's been consolidating within this range for about 7 to 8 days, and my theory is price is consolidating this whole time simply because I don't believe there's enough shares to be lent out to drive the price down unless there are nefarious things going on. With only 5.5 million shares outstanding, or free float, to be more precise, there were 2 days where CDIO traded over 140 million shares. So it needed time to consolidate, shake out the buy and sell orders. And I believe during that whole time, it was pulling up the 50 EMA, which is the 50 SMA, which is this blue line. Okay, so I'm going to get through this pretty quickly so we can get to the new information. And then you've got this 200 moving average, pretty flat down here, supporting everything, all the price movements, all the 3, the 8, the 20, and the 50. Okay, so all that information has been out there, and I've talked about that. So let's look at what's new here that I've discovered. So if you look at the bottom here where we initially looked at CDIO way back, if you look at here, there's a whole bunch of consolidation in this area at about 21 cents, where price literally blew up from the 20 moving average in this area. And this area, this pinnacle here, is the result of this massive falling wedge that essentially started back here in April 12 of 23. They decide just to drop CDIO to where it is or has been in the sub pennies, right? So that was around $3.15. But that's not the that's only one part of the story. We've got to go back even further to look at this giant, massive bat pattern, harmonic bat pattern that started back here in February 1st of 23, where it created this massive bat pattern. What's particularly interesting here for me is this XA leg. The XA leg ratio between X down here and then up here, the A leg, forms this price target of $1.80. Okay, why is that important? That is important because if you look at the recent high, look at where price ended up, $1.82. Let me move myself so you can see it. Okay, so price came back to $1.82. Hang on a second, I'm trying to get it precisely here for you. It's a little hard being on the phone. $1.82 at the high, and then from there it just retraced back down to where it is at right now, which is about $1. So the XA leg, I don't believe in coincidences when it comes to the market because the market has a very long-lasting memory. So the XA leg right here is $1.80. So what does that mean? That means that it took all this time for price to drop, and it's at a point where price could not drop anymore, and it needs to bounce back. So one of the biggest principle of the market is it has to move up to move down, it has to move down to move up. And in between, during that whole consolidation period, it trades sideways. Okay, so price moved down from way up here at the height of wave X to A, which is $8.72. Okay, so it moved all the way up from about, I'm eyeballing here, about 94 cents. This massive wave up to A was $8. Where is price right now? About $1. Where was price back here in late January, early February? About $1. So if you guys follow me, you know that I am a firm believer of the market cycling itself over a period of time. And guess what? The market is almost there again. It's almost there again. And look at where the price moved up all the way to $8, then retraced back down. And for me, my validation at this point was the height of the recent high, which is $1.82, which goes back to this harmonic pattern that created this XA leg at $1.80. So what does that mean right now? And what does that mean with this falling wedge? The falling wedge is a small component within the overall harmonic pattern that happened to be a bat pattern. And so each of these patterns, kind of like think of the patterns in the stock market as Legos building block to whatever the overall project that you're building with a Lego set. And to me, the falling wedge pattern plays into this overall bat pattern. So now that we have this confirmation, and this is where I'm going to tie it in together, okay? Just stick with me here. I know the video is going about 7 minutes, 8 minutes, but stick with me. This is where I'm going to tie it in. So we have this breakout at about, I want to say 21 cents and change. So that broke upwards, nailed the $1.82, which happens to be the XA leg of the previous overarching pattern, which is the bat pattern, right? You following me so far? So when you have a pattern breakout, the way you measure your price target is you take the low of the breakout, draw it up to the high, you map it over to where the breakout point was, and then you project it up. By doing that, you're looking at a price target of $2.69, $2.70, which is something that I've shared with my internal team, trading team. And the fact that price is hovering at $1 right now is a natural retracement of where price was back in late January, early February at about $1 before this massive buildup. And then as you can see in the process between that time, there was this blip similar to the $1.80 that we saw recently that essentially drove price up, came back down, retraced to about $1.50, which is about right? So that's about 50% of the run up, the total run up that we saw happen down here before it went back up. So the consolidation period here is really critical, and I believe, based on everything I've said prior, I believe that this 50 moving average, the blue line, once it touches, and this could happen sometime next week, once it meets up with the rest of the moving average, that will form the next leg upward to where we will be able to see the price target of 270 realized. Will that happen next week? I'm not sure. We may, with next week being a holiday, and then Friday, um, Black Friday is only a half day of trading. I think it's going to be interesting to observe and see what happens to the price movement next week. So I do want to bring up the 1 week chart, which is really interesting as well in this case. Um, it did needed this consolidation period right here. That was extremely necessary to to give the market time to basically resolve everything that was happening the week prior. Okay, because the week prior there were, let's see here, the week prior, let me see, the week prior there were 375 million shares traded for a 5.5 million free float stock, and in 1 week it traded 375 million shares. That is absurdly bonkers. And then the consolidation last week, there were only 21 million shares. So what happened to all the shares that were bought and sold the week prior? I mean, if that alone doesn't excite you for what is to come, I really don't know what else would. And for me, I'm going to keep a pretty keen eye on CDIO next week, because based on what I'm seeing historically, um, in this in this let's see here, back in, yeah, so here it is, back in, during the last week of February, look at this massive explosion from about $1, which is where price is right now, $1, $1.05, and it blew all the way up to $8.64 with 200 million shares traded, and then it consolidated, went back down. All right, guys, so that is my laser view of where CDIO is currently today, reflecting back on where it was back in February of 2023. And now we have this massive opportunity to see where CDIO is moving towards next, especially now because I believe that they're going to enter into a net positive revenue. This is a little bit of my DD talking. And the only reason I'm bringing that up is because there was a recent partnership that really just sparked the whole PR and getting this whole thing moved again, bringing it back to life. And then I believe on Friday there was another positive PR that came out, which obviously price didn't reflect on that. But that being said, I'm pretty positive to see things start to move again for CDIO, and then we'll keep a close eye on this because I think there's a pretty big opportunity here to see this stock move with only 5.5 million shares in the free float. And then that being said, just keep in mind that this is something I'll talk to more once the stock starts to move, and what to watch out in terms of dilution. The stock is gonna, the company will probably do an offering that's gonna drop the price down. So that's like another phase of trade management that you need to consider when you enter a trade. But yeah, that's what I have. Pretty exciting coming up here. If you're watching this video and you like it, please like and subscribe on Tipline. We do this quite often. We'll jump on live and whatnot, but it's been quite busy for me the last couple of weeks because I'm traveling, and that's why I'm coming up with this new format to get information out to you quicker, especially when I'm not at my trading desk. And information's king regardless of how the message gets delivered to you. All right, this video is right at 15 minutes. My name is Vincent Nguyen for Tipline, not financial advice. Please consider this as educational purposes only and entertainment value. Okay, talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Have a great rest of your weekend. See you later.